Alright guys, so welcome back. So now we want to learn or see how to draft the trousers, and then I have shown us the first video which was the introduction, and then this video now is going to show us the drafting proper. Now before we proceed, it's good for us to know the tools we need. Of course, your scissors, your rule, your chalk, your straight ruler, your hip curve, and then your fabric as well. Now, this fabric is called Cashmere 220, right? It's called Cashmere 220. As you can see, it's widely written on at the edge of it, Cashmere Super Cashmere 220. Now, they have two types of this. They have the one that's a cheaper value. They have the one they sell for costly value. Now, the one they sell for cheaper value, I think they sell for 3,500 or 3,000 or 2,500. I think 2,500 for the lower one. Now they have the original one they sell for 7,500 to 8,000 naira, depending on your contact and depends on your location. So now, having known the values or the range of prices for these cashmeres, now it's now time for you to time for us to proceed. Now the feeling is so soft, like it's not hard. It can adjust to body sizes and body shapes. It's so soft, unlike the regular stock material that I have here that seems to be a bit strong. As you can see, it's a bit strong. It's a bit strong, right? It's a bit strong. Why this is so soft? Now the same yardage, but this one is heavier and this one is lighter. So, but then it shows that this is the original value because it's a bit the name rather is written at the edge. So if you are buying, try to be sure of the quality you are buying, right? Now this other one doesn't have any name on the edge. It's called stock, right? It's being sold for 1,500, 1,400, depending on your location. Now they have different types of material. So when you get a process vendor, try to know the names and know their feelings of texture. So having said that, now this is a 3.5 yards material. Now the reason I am trying to draft this fabric in this form is to show you how we can handle this. Just to show you how we can handle this, right? Now most of the times people can be confused on how many yardage they need for each person's measurement. Now the minimum yards you need is 1.5 for all grown-ups, but then in your regular sewing, if your customer gives you or gave you a fabric more than 1.5 yards, possibly for both up and down, then you're not meant to cut out 1.5 yards because you're trying to put the fabric in pieces, which will not be okay. So it's advisable that you hold the two edges this way. Hold the two edges this way in this form. The English mouth will be on your direction, right? Now the English mouth should not be on this direction except when you have a print on the fabric. So when you hold your fabric in this form, make sure that the right sides are facing each other. Make sure that the right sides are facing each other this way. Then you hold it in this form, right? And then after this, you arrange it properly. You arrange it properly this way, right? Arrange properly this way. Make sure that there is no rumples. Now, bear in mind that I am using the back, that's the wrong side of the fabric in my placement of whatever you are going to make. So make sure you make use of the rough edge, the back side, the wrong side. So you arrange it properly, make it to be equal. Now, having taken your time to arrange it properly, if in some cases your fabric is rumpled, you are meant to iron out the fabric so that it can give you a smooth base, right? But this one is so smooth and so free of rumples. Now, the next thing you will do is you take your long ruler, right? Place it at this edge. Place your long ruler at this edge. Now, this edge is called the English mouth. Let me adjust a bit so that you can see clearly what I'm drafting, right? So place your long ruler at this edge. Now this edge is the English mouth. You will have to remove it, you have to mark it off. Then you make a 1/4 inch placement of your ruler in this form. Then mark out this area. Make sure that your lines must be straight at this edge. Your lines must be straight at this edge. So once you have done this, now the next thing you will do now is to apply your 2 inches, right? You apply your 2 inches. Now you also check the edge of this part. If it's rough, if it's not straight, You mark it out, but I think mine is straight enough, so I will just have to cut out the threads here just to make it safe fabric and make it lap. Then you will mark out, you measure 2 inches. Now these 2 inches you're measuring is for the folding. It's for the folding of the leg, right? It is not part of your trouser length. So you mark 2 inches. Mark it twice. Just shift your hand at any range and mark. Then make use of your white ruler to connect the lines this way. Connect the lines this way. Make sure that your lines are straight enough. Then after which, you now bring in your customer's measurements. Now, before I proceed, I would like to as well show you my measurement book. Now, this is a book I use in taking down my customers' measurements. Now, it has been it's no longer valid to be using a plain paper or a rough paper to take your measurements. You can procure this in the market, or you can as well make your own. Meet a printer, give him a format of this book. He can go ahead and print for you and put your brand name in it. I once had one that my brand name is properly written on, right? So after doing this now, then you bring the measurements of the customer. So because this class is for teaching sake, so that's why I wrote the measurement at the sketching area. I would have filled it on the regular points. Now, my customer's length of the trouser I have is 39. So you have to apply 39 inches from the 2 inches you marked this way, and then you apply 39 inches this way. You apply 39 inches. Now, convention will tell you to mark twice. So you mark twice. Mark it twice. Now, marking it twice here will help you to have a perfect line at the waist point. So now, after marking your measurement twice, mark here and mark here as well. And then, with the help of your ruler as well, you connect accordingly, right? You connect accordingly, then draw the line to a reasonable extent. Then after which, the next battle you will do now is to derive your crouch. I told us that the formula we're going to use for this class is hips over 4. Then the hip we have here is a hips of 43. Over 4 is 10 3/4. That's 10.75. Then because of the fact that this guy length is 39 inches, I will not deduct any half. I will apply 10 3/4. That's 10.75. That's here, right? I apply 10.75 at that point. Then mark it 2 times as well in order to have a perfect connection. Then you should as well learn how to read the tape. I think I have made a video on tape reading on the playlist on my YouTube channel. Please kindly go through them. If you have not seen them, have patience. We will get to you. I will make the video and upload, right? Now, after which, the next you will do is to mark 1.5 inch inwards here. Now, we are using the straight line method in our trouser drafting. So mark 1.5 inches inwards. Then after which, you now connect the 1.5 inches to the 10.5, that's the 10 3/4 inch you had on your hip line. So now you connect accordingly, right? So you make sure you have a straight ruler from here. You link it up. That's the sense of the straight ruler. So try to know where the rulers are used. Don't use the half straight rulers in doing this. Then on this part, then you bring a line to come out straight in this way. Don't take the line, go this way. From that 2 inches, make it to be straight at that point. As you can see properly, right? This is how it should be. Then after which, you now apply your customer's hip measurements. The hip I have is 43, which is now 10 3/4. That's 10.75. So you mark 10.75 here. You mark it this way, and then mark extra 2 inches. It must be 2, right? It can't be 1. It must be 2. Then on your waist line, the lowest we have is 33. That's 8 3/4. You mark 8.75 here. Sorry, you have 8 1/4, right? 8.25 here, 8.25. So you mark it here, and then extra 1 inch. You must add 1 to your waistline. Then connect your hip point to your waist allowance this way. So you have the line coming out in this form. Then after this, then from the crotch depth, you come up by 2, now which serves you for your hip point or hip position. Then after that, you can now make use of your armhole curve or your whatever pattern master and then place in this form, and then you connect from here, and this is how it will be. Then from the waistline, come down by ½ inch, 0.5 for your waist slope or waist slanting. Then 0.5 down, you connect it in this form, 0.5 inches down. Then after this, you now mark your pocket depth, which conventionally I told us 7 inches, so you mark 7 inches. Then at the upside, you mark 2.5. Then after this, you now go to the ankle. The ankle measurement we have is ankle of 13.5. So at this point, I will just use 14, right? For easier division, 14, I mark 7, right? And then I will now come up straight from that 7 inches. Your hands must be straight here. You come up straight. Now, the extent you are going to go will be up to your calf point. Now, you can swell, measure 9 to 10 inches down, up, before you stop. And then, with the help of your hip curve, then place your hip curve in this form. Don't use the most curvy part of your hip curve to place here. It's wrong. Now, push it up a bit so that the curve will not encroach on your 2 inches mark. Then, place it here as well. Then point the mouth of your hip curve toward the line that is coming up from the ankle, and then you connect halfway, connect here this way, right? And then you also lap your hip curve here and then connect as shown. So this is a perfect straight line trouser. As you can see how simple and how nice it's done. Then the next method you will see will be on the plumb line. I will cut this now and show us how to cut the back as well. All right, so now I have cut out the fabric. Now the reason I'm showing you guys so that you see the lines that I cut out from the 1.5 inch I marked is where I cut out this side from, and as well the ½ inch slope is where I cut the trouser point. I'm cut in this form, and that is how the trouser was cut, right? So now the next you will see now is the back panel. Now this is one part of our trouser. Now all the whole components makes up the trouser. So we have cut out one component. Now let's now cut the second component, which happens to be the back component. Be in mind that the two fronts is called or are being referred as one component. Then place it this way. As you can see, I had to turn it the other way around. Reasons being that the down part tends to be bigger, so I had to turn it to be able to accommodate the hip part of my trouser as well. Then after doing that, the next you will also do is to make sure that you place the trouser 2 inches away from the sides of this inner leg, right? Inner seam. Then after you must have done that, now the next thing you will do now will be to bring out the lines on your crotch depth. Now bring it down out this way, and then from this end you mark 2 inches. Now these 2 inches serves you for your extra allowances you need for your back trouser, right? Now all the allowances needed for the sewing comes from the back. The back panel must be bigger by 2 inches. Then you connect in twos, connect the first one to the second one, right? And connect the second one to the third one, and then connect the third one to the fourth one, and then connect the fourth one to the fifth, which happens to be the fifth one. As you can see how perfect connection I have. So now after that, you now come to your waist area, then mark 1.5 inch here. Now bear in mind that it must be 1.5, right? So mark 1.5 inches here, 1.5, then come on the hip point and mark 2, and then with the help of your freehand sketch, you now connect this point with your freehand sketch up all through to the up, and then from here you raise the back panel by 2. Now the back trouser must be longer, or longer by 2 inches. It can't be 1, it can't be 1.5, it must be 2. Now for all adults, except on kids, you can do 1 inch or 1.5, or except on Ankara trousers where the length might not be enough to be raised by 2, you can manage 1.5 inch at the back, then slope it uprightly to this point. Then this is basically how you cut or you mark your back trouser. So I'll also cut this now. I will leave the video on to show us the cutting in order for us to be clarified in case there's any confusion in the marking. The cutting will give you a clearer understanding how it is. So the back will now be cut in this form, and then make sure you use the same method I'm using in your drafting. Please don't confuse my method with another method out there. Like I say, I do say, don't compare methods. Try to stick to one method in your learning processes when you must have learned that method very well. If you not seek for upgrade, you can now start looking for other methods which might add more value to your cuttings, right? So also don't forget to click on the subscribe button on the channel as well. Share this video, comment where you're watching from, ask your questions on the comment section. Tell me how effective my trainings are on the comment sections of this particular video. It will encourage me to be able to do more, right? Because the impact I'm making, it is what I care for mostly, to know how people are understanding my tutorials for me to be able to do more. If you want me to do more, please comment and share. Invite your friends. Click on the like button as well to give me a thumbs up on the video for me to know that my videos are making sense to us. So after that, then you notch your up pocket this way as well, notch the downside this way as well. So this serves you for the notching. The notching should not exceed 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch in maximum, right? So notch in that form. So we have cut out the front and the back panel. So I will pause this video here and then make a new video on the whole components we need for the back other trouser components. So thank you for watching.